What's good, y'all? We back again. We back again, man. And we back again for another video. And today, man, we got another video with the Punisher. If y'all don't know who the Punisher is one of Diddy's male escorts or workers that he would hire. He hired him a few times for him and Cassie and things like that. And now he's on Vlad TV making a bag with Vlad, and he's gonna spill all the tea. What's going on with all this freak offs and them crazy ass shit that Diddy had him do. But without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's get straight into it, man. You dig?
All right, here we go. Today we have Sheree Hayes, aka Punisher, who recently took the stand in the Diddy trial to discuss being hired as an.
Yo, I'm not gonna hold you, bro. It could be messed up, but he gives me like one of those dudes. He looks like one of the dudes who be in jail, and all he wants is the booty. All he wants is the booty. This is what he look like. You know what I'm saying? He has that face. I don't know. Let me know in the comments.
Escort to have intercourse with Cassie while Diddy watched. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Man, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate being here.
I just want to start off.
He looks so uncomfortable. He's like, yo, I never thought I would be here. You can look at his face. See how he's kind of fidgeting a bit.
I feel a little uncomfortable calling you Punisher. As a heterosexual male, I just want to put that out there. I mean, I will mention the name because, that's your alias, right? I just want to have that disclaimer in the very beginning.
Just want to say that. Man. You got to keep it solid, right?
Got to keep it solid. Well, you have a very interesting story. And I want to get into a little bit of it before we get into, what we're really here to talk about. Now, you grew up in Harlem.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Harlem.
And you said your dad was kind of a gangster around the neighborhood?
Yeah, man. Like, he had a pretty good reputation, man. A lot of intimidation that got me, like, a lot of respect and a lot of treatment, great treatment as a kid. But, that led him into prison at a very young age. So we didn't really rekindle our relationship till I got to my late teens because he ended up getting locked up.
What did he get locked up for?
Bank robbery.
Bank robbery?
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty bold there.
Yeah.
How much did he get?
He got 8 years federal.
8 years.
Yeah.
How much money did he get from the bank?
The crazy thing is not much, man. It was more of he didn't do like the in the bank robbery. It was, how businesses do the bank drop. So he tried to rob the bank drop and.
Oh, he tried to get one of them brink trucks. Yo, this nigga moving like he from the movies. Yo, but sometimes, bro, like, you be having this big, like, master plan to rob something or do something, and then, like, you get none out of it but just jail time. It's like, it's not even worth it, man, for those who want to rob stuff.
It got compromised. Person had a pistol and didn't go right.
Now, while you're growing up, when you were in high school, you had a situation where you got stabbed?
Yeah, man. Just, hanging out in Harlem, thinking I'm tough. I'm at a party. Some guys that don't like my friend, and we get into something outside, and I got the bottle. You crack the bottle, and somebody came from behind, caught me on the side of the neck, spent 10 days in the hospital. I had 10 stitches in, 10 stitches out. It was a really, really, really significant wound, but I mean, I'm 16 years old, man. I'm pumped up on testosterone and adrenaline, and actually, you would think something like that would calm you down, but it made you worse. Made me worse because I had this mentality of, well, look, I already survived it. Like, what's the chances of something happening again? And it made me a little more reckless, but luckily I found sports, and that kind of leveled it out for me.
Okay, and the Punisher name came from basketball?
Yeah, man, basketball, man. I started hooping real seriously. Getting stabbed, I ended up missing a year of high school. So when I started back up, I went to Martin Luther King, ended up on the basketball team. I played my junior and senior year.
How the hell you get stabbed? You say 10 days in the hospital, and then you miss a year of school? Like, the math is not mathing. Like y'all do the math for me. Like, what happened? Maybe he got expelled? Like what?
And actually ended up with a partial scholarship to Southern University in Baton Rouge to hoop.
Okay. Did you end up actually going to college? Or?
Yeah, I went to Southern University. I went to hoop, but I still had kind of like a Harlem, even though I'm not going to front like I was a street kid, but when you're young and a teenager, you want to be tough. So I walked around with kind of that bravado. You take a Harlem kid and you put him in the middle of Louisiana, and it just wasn't going to work, man. So I stayed like a semester, had a little bit of ego, didn't feel like I was going to start like I'm going to come into a Division I program and play immediately. Told myself I was going to come back to New York and transfer to Iona because my uncle was like an All-American from Iona. His name's Gary Springer. And I'm thinking I'm going to transfer, and I never even went back to school.
Okay, so by 22, you became a male stripper.
Yeah.
Okay, what led you into that?
Yo, I ended up staying in a relationship with my high school sweetheart, and she came home one day and just was like, I'm going to start working in a female strip club. And basically gave me no choice. It was like, take it or leave it. So I took it. Like, I didn't, I was in love. And about a year into her doing that, she came home one day talking about, I'm meeting all these guys. I don't want to be tied down anymore. And she dumped me. So my 21-year-old mind thought it was a good idea that, I'll show her. I'm going to go be a stripper too. And then she'll see all the girls into me and feeling me. And then I'll get her back. And that's really was the motivation to get my girlfriend back.
Okay, so describe to me the first night doing male stripping. Because it's very different than a regular female strip club.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So my first night actually was doing house parties. The guy who introduced me, like put me on to it, he was like really popular in the game. So like a male dancer, you'll get 5 or 6 parties a night where you just go from house to house to house, and there's bachelorette parties. So he just took me with him and was like, yo, bro, let's go. When you come in, just say you're a stripper already. Don't say you're a new guy, and just kind of, come along with me to see the ropes. And one of the spots he got to, the girls was like, who's your friend? And they were like, do you want him to dance? And so he comes in the room like, bro, they want you to dance. How much money you want? And I didn't even want to dance. I was terrified. So I was like, I'm going to think of a lot of money, so it's going to outprice me and they don't want me to dance. And I was like, tell them I want $50, right? $50. So he comes back and throws me the 50, and I went out there with this little eye patch thong on and some Saucony track sneakers and just hopped.
$50? Oh, nah. You better give me like 200 or something.
Around the living room, it must look crazy, man. I picked up the Bachelorette. She was a little heavy. Reggae song was on. She started bogling. I fell over, dropped, landed on top of her. It was complete, like,
dang.
It was a horror show, man. But it was what it happened. I made it happen, and 30 years later, I'm still on the hustle.
Okay, so were you getting naked or just like a thong kind of situation?
At the time, just down to like a little eye patch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little G-string, but it eventually got to the point where, not necessarily naked, because that doesn't really work.
Once I said little G-string, is crazy.
With women, but it does get to a point where you do something which is called flash. So, like, when you get further in the business, you understand the illusions, right? So, if anybody's seen videos of male dancers, and sometimes it looks like they walking with like something swinging down to their knee, right? That's something called beefing up, where prior to the show, you get an erection and you use something similar to like a cock ring, and you tie it on the base. So you're basically tying your erection to keep the blood in. And
yo, this sounds crazy. Yo, I never heard some shit like that in my life, bro. Yo, this shit getting freaky. It's a freaky ass interview, man.
After about 20-30 minutes, it does get painful or whatever, but you got to kind of just manage it. But it gives the illusion like you're walking around with this swinging, because it's not fully, but it's hanging, so you look like in a flaccid state, you like 6 inches flaccid. So women gonna think, wow, if that thing gets erect, it's gonna be big. So you start doing this illusion, and it gives you like a little reputation to walk around. And if you tie it well enough, at some point in your show, you can have a moment where you pull it out, and then the girls just go nuts.
Okay, so you're dancing for these women, and these are sometimes overweight women, like you mentioned, and middle-aged women. These are not like supermodels that you're doing this for.
Nah, if you're gonna get like a 10% ratio, like 1 out of every 10 girls is like, okay, she's nice. But number 9,
Yo, deadass, bro. I always wondered that shit. Like, when niggas really do that shit, like, I wonder, like, is there really attractive women who be hiring, or just be like the ones who can't really get men for real, so they hire them. You know what I'm saying? But he answered my question. 10% are baddies. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now, leading up to the situation with Diddy and Cassie, were women actually paying you to have sex with them?
nah, that like being a male escort was not necessarily my hustle, but you do get opportunities as a stripper. But it's never, women are not overt with, hey, how much for sex? Like that's not how they do. So when you get propositioned by women, it's usually, do you do one-on-ones? Can I hire you to dance for me? Just me,
Private.
you know, or do you do massages, right? So it always starts out as some sort of just one-on-one intimate thing. But if you read between the lines, you know there's a possibility where she wants it to escalate for sex. So have I been hired for a one-on-one dance that led into sex? Yes. You know what I'm saying? But have I ever said, hey, sex is XYZ an hour? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. No, because, you know, women are not going to hire you under those pretenses. There's always some sort of intimacy that can lead to the opportunity.
Okay, so leading up to the Cassie situation, how many women actually hired you for one-on-ones?
I want to say leading up to the Cassie situation, I would say maybe 20, 25.
Okay. And how much did you charge each time?
I mean, listen, I was still a dancer, right? So I'm charging a dancer's rate. So I guess I'm probably the cheapest gigolo in the city because I'm getting a dancer's rate. And if it led to sex, honestly, it wasn't because I got paid for sex. It was because this is a woman I would have had sex with anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's attractive. She's somebody that I would deal with. And if she hired me for a one-on-one and there was some actual attraction, then obviously I'll let it go to the next step.
Okay, but you told me that only 1 out of 10 are actually attractive, so...
Well, I'm talking about, that's in the club.
Okay.
So in the club, there's 500 women, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying 1 out of every 10 of those 500 women are attractive.
500 women is crazy, son. Hold on. 500 women is crazy.
When women call me for a one-on-one, then I can kind of screen what it is. And now, mind you, even with that ratio, I got called for probably 20, 30 parties a week. Like in my height of dancing, I was extremely popular, and culturally it was the thing to do, like hire a male stripper. You know what I'm saying? So I became kind of like a local celebrity as a male stripper during that time frame. You know?
Yeah, my man Roger Bonds, who I just put you on FaceTime with,
Yeah.
said he knew of you.
Yeah.
Said, you know, he was a Harlem guy, you're a Harlem guy. You guys didn't know each other, I think, personally, but he knew of you.
Yeah.
And he basically said how around that time, a lot of guys were coming out of prison, and they were all like jacked up from working out, and a lot of them would go into male stripping and so forth. Did you see a lot of that?
Yeah, I seen the attempt of it. Like, you know, every guy think, yo, I'm in good shape, I can just do this. But it's not really that easy, man. Like, if you'll get a couple of parties, you'll come through, you'll make a couple of bucks. But if you're going to do it as a living, it probably was just a handful of guys that consistently did it. And you got to build a reputation. You got to be known for it to be profitable other than a couple of bucks, maybe once or twice a month, you know?
Okay, so 2012, you're around 38 years old at the time. You have a website called Get Punished.
Yes.
And you get contacted by a female from this website.
Yep.
Which ended up being Cassie.
Exactly.
So what was the first contact like?
Seemed like just a normal, typical party. I pick up the phone. It's like she introduces herself as Janet.
Janet.
Yep, it's
Okay.
Janet, and she says it's her birthday. She said it's my birthday, and my husband told me that I can have an entertainer, and I'm celebrating with some friends. So we want you to come through and do a dance for me and my friends. So I'm expecting a small gathering of women to do a show. And so we scheduled it. We picked a time. They told me the Trump Hotel. And the time originally was like midnight. Then it got pushed to 1. Then it got pushed to 2. And I think eventually we scheduled on like 2:45 a.m.
Okay. And was money discussed at this point?
Yeah, the going rate at the time to a regular striptease was like $200. So that's what I quoted.
Okay.
Damn.
So you show up to the Trump Hotel. What happens next?
Bro, it's crazy because I'm coming there expecting a party, and the door opens, and it's Janet, and she's basically in a robe, but it's completely obvious that she's nude underneath. And she kind of just opens the door with this big inviting smile. Hey, how you doing? And I'm like, because listen, man, we live in a time with filters, and every woman can make themselves look attractive and beautiful on social media and stuff like that. But when you see a woman like Miss Ventura, and she looks flawless, man. It's like it's a wow factor.
Nah, that's facts. Like back then, they had no editing, no AI, no fixing editing, no pictures, no nothing. So he probably was like, damn, like she hired me, this woman. I feel him though. Like the Cassie has that natural, pretty girl, like natural, like she don't need no makeup. You feel me?
You know, so opening the door to that stunning of a woman was like, what is this? And I like, she's naked, right? So you can tell she's naked. So she's like, come on in, and I'm heading on in, you know?
Okay. So you come in the room, and there's someone else in the room.
Nope.
At that point, no.
No.
Just her.
I come to, so it's a suite, right? So she brings me in. She takes me straight to the living room. And the living room is darkly lit, it's dim. And then what was weird about it is every piece of furniture was covered in sheets. So I look around. I have like a little mini freak out because I think I just watched this movie called American Psycho. And when he used to bring people in his house to kill them, he used to cover all his furniture. So I'm like, yo, what's about to happen? But whatever, I regained my composure. We stopped in front of a bathroom. And so I immediately asked, I still think I'm going to dance, right? So I say, do you want me to change here? So she immediately explains, look, I don't want you to dance. Actually, while you're here is me and my husband, we like to create a sexy scene. So she starts explaining to me that she wants me to change it to underwear or a towel. And then she points to 2 of the couches. And she said, we're going to sit on those couches. You're going to sit here. I'm going to be here. And we're going to put baby on and create like a sexy environment, and at some point my husband's gonna come out and watch.
Okay, so how much baby oil was around at this point?
So the baby oil, ironically, by the couches there were like bowls, and the bowls were filled with warm water, and there were just big bottles of baby oil just placed in the bowl. So
okay.
I want to say it was 2 to 3 bottles of baby oil, but the big ones, the thirst busters.
Okay. All right. So you start putting the baby oil on at this point?
Yeah. So I go in the bathroom, change to the towel. I come out. She's in the robe, so she takes her robe off. I'm in my towel, and we're both first individually oiling each other. And then it leaves, I'm oiling myself, she's oiling herself, then we start oiling each other, and then there's some sort of like, masturbation, like I'm masturbating, she's masturbating, we're creating this sexual environment, and at some point, shortly after that started, her husband walked into the room.
Okay. Now, this husband that walks in the room was a black male.
Black male.
Who was only wearing a veil on his face?
Yes. So he walks into the room. Now, one part that I left out is part of the instructions initially was in creating these scenes, when her husband came in, we were not supposed to acknowledge him at all. I was supposed to act like he's not there. Don't look at him. Don't talk to him. Try my best to just make believe he's not in the room.
It's crazy.
So even when he walks in, I have to look at him from my peripherals, but I'm gonna look, right? Because I never been in a situation. It's kind of odd. So he does walk in nude. I can kind of see, but then when it gets to his neckline, it's like I think they call a burqa, like the Muslim women wear it, and you can only see the eyes.
This nigga try to do some Arabian Nights vibe, bro. That man came in on some Arabian Nights vibe. Yo.
Okay. So you got this naked guy in the room with you. You don't know who it is, though.
I have no idea.
He's not talking or anything else like that at this point?
Not at this point. He just comes in. I notice in his hands a purple top. So I use Astral Glide so I can kind of make out he had Astral Glide. And across the room there was like a table with a chair. So he kind of sat at the table in the chair, and he sat there, and he would get up and kind of walk side to side and pace side to side, which to tell he was trying to get better visual angles.
Okay. What happens next?
With the visual angles, he would start giving very subtle directions, but it was just more or less on viewing. Like, the room was candlelit, so he would at times get her attention and tell her, "Hey, move the candle to the left, move the candle to the right, turn your body this way." And he never spoke directly to me, but it could be instructions for me to turn my body, for me to get in different positions. And so this went on about 20-25 minutes.
This man Diddy was directing a porno, bro. This man Diddy was producing a damn porno, directing a porno, man. Shit is nuts.
Eventually he just got up and left the room. That was kind of like a cue for her to follow him. She left the room, and then she just came back and was like, "That was great. It was perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Like, we're good." But then she asked me, "Do I want to finish?" And so me finishing is referring to me having an orgasm. But honestly, man, with the environment and stuff, I'm kind of uncomfortable. So I declined. Like, I went the high road. Like, professionally, like, look, if you guys are happy, I'm happy. It's not about my needs. As long as everything is good, cool. And she accepted that. I stood up, and she handed me $1,200. And that was in addition. I didn't mention when I first got there, prior to changing, the first thing she did was handed me $800.
Oh, damn.
And after everything was over, it was an additional $12. So I ended up with $2,000 for like a 20-minute baby oil massage. So it was a win for me.
Okay, and you...
Yo, that's wild, bro. $2K for a little massage with a baddie, with a fatty. Oh my, yeah, that's wild.
So you guys didn't have sex, but you rubbed baby oil on her naked body and everything else like that. So there was definitely sexual activity, but not full-blown
Not full-blown sex, no.
Okay, so you got $2,000, and you didn't recognize Cassie at all, did you?
I did not, man.
At that point, yeah.
I saw her face, but I couldn't completely make it out.
Wow.
Like, so she had on a wig, right? So she's wearing a wig. So later, after the fact, I didn't have the cue of the shaved hair, kind of look. So, and I'm looking at the face, and I just couldn't figure it out. When I left, I tried to jump on Google. I knew they had to be some sort of celebrity couple, but I think what was throwing me off was I thought they were married. So all my Google searches are married couple, married couple, married couple.
Oh no, man. What y'all think, man? What y'all think? Diddy's a freaky ass nigga. He is 69 God. Hey, man, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Like, share this, man. We're gonna road to 1K subs. Please sub up. Show some love. It's your boy Breezy, man. We go.